Hello, Ellie. Today we're going to be talking about something that makes me angry. Hunger. Not my hunger, now that might make me a little agitated, I'll admit, but it doesn't make me nearly as angry as the chronic hunger of millions of people. So the other day I came home and my dad was watching a documentary on TV and I asked him what it was about and he said, Hunger in America. And I asked, is it by any chance called A Place at the Table? And he said, yeah, it is. Now, I had seen this documentary about a year ago, and it's affected me ever since. A Place at the Table is a really fantastic documentary, and you should just go watch it. I'm not going to talk about too many things that are in the film because I can't possibly cover it, as well as the people who made it. I also want to note that I'm not an economist or a biologist, and I'm going to make some points, and I realize that my facts might not be perfect. I can't pretend to understand everything completely. But it's still important to talk about. At least so many things in life are complicated, but that doesn't mean that we can ignore them. Did you know that we produce enough food to feed everyone in the world? At least based on the research that I've done and what I've learned in school. It's not a production problem, it's a distribution problem. And you best know it's a distribution problem in the US because the US produces way enough food to feed all of the people in the country. Through further research, I've learned that we as a country throw out 40% of our food. 40%! That is ridiculous! And it's not just bad for people, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for everyone. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get this emotional. I knew that I was angry. I knew that I was really, really angry, but I didn't know that it was going to come out like this. I apologize. I'm mad. I feel like this is a problem that we can fix. I feel like we have the resources, but our policies and whatever we use to control the resources are not working. I'd say that in this case, the fault is in ourselves. Maybe not for the individual. The fault is in their stars. It's not their fault that they're hungry, but our policies, we as a society, there's fault in that. We're doing something wrong. We're subsidizing the wrong foods. Ever wonder why healthy food is so expensive? I would tell you it's not because of the calorie count. And that creates an even bigger problem because if you're on a budget, you're gonna buy the most calories for the smallest amount of money that you possibly can. And the cheapest food is the worst for you. Then people end up not having enough to eat, and then what they are eating is terrible for them, and it doesn't have enough nutrients, and then their body just is gonna kind of freak out and be like, oh my goodness, I have to hold on to as many calories as I possibly can because it's not functioning properly. And then they start gaining weight despite the fact that they're hungry. Which is why it makes me so angry when people say that you can't be fat and hungry at the same time, because you can. Again, I'm not a biologist, but I do know that that is definitely true. I don't fully understand it, but I know that it's true. And it frustrates me when people say that it isn't. Anyway, I know that I didn't cover nearly all the ins and outs of the issue, and I know that it's definitely more complicated than I make it seem. You should watch the documentary because that will help a lot, but I just want people to be aware. Even if it's complicated and difficult, you have to try to be aware, and you have to try to understand. I think I'm done ranting. See you soon, I hope. I'm out. I've also included some links in the description of things that you can go to help. I want you to be aware. Being aware is always the first step, but it's also good to take action. And sometimes that means making your voice heard, which is what I'm doing.